Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ben here. I'm back again today doing another video. The subject of today's video is going to be about Julius Randle, who is an upcoming free agent during this upcoming off season, and he has had a really good season, and he surprised a lot of people, and he signed for a very low contract value this season. He's only making around $8 million per year this season, and so he is in line for a really big pay upgrade after the season concludes. And so today I'm going to be talking about some of the potential teams I think he could go to and why they need him, and also what kind of salary I think he would demand. So first off, let's start by looking at his statistics for this year, uh, and we can go from there. So this year, Julius Randle is scoring 21 points per game, uh, collecting 9 rebounds a night, 3 assists a game, 1 steal, and 1 block a game. And then he is shooting 53% from the field at 14 shots per night. And then he's shooting 35% from 3 and 74% for the line. So basically pretty good numbers. 21 points and 9 rebounds and 3 assists is good. And then his efficiency is pretty good for him. The 35% from 3 is the highest for his career pretty easily. His next highest year was 28%. So yes, he is improving in that department. And then the field goal percentage at 53% is pretty good, and the Pelicans have been pretty happy with that. Looking at his per 36 minutes per night numbers, if you adjust for him playing 36 minutes a night, he's scoring 25 points a game, collecting 11 rebounds, getting 4 assists a game. Still with the let's see here. Of course, the efficiency is the same with the 53% from the field and 35% from 3. But that's to say, if you were playing him 36 minutes a night, which is like an average NBA, like a really good starter, usually plays around 36 minutes per night. So if he were playing those minutes, he'd be averaging 25 points and 11 rebounds a night. So that's really impressive. And again, it's on pretty good efficiency. So there's a bunch of teams out there that have some cap space. Well, not a bunch, but a few teams out there that have some good cap space, and they could sign him, and they also need a low post presence. So the first team that I have for this is the Utah Jazz, who actually have Derek Favors on the roster, and Julius Randle would basically be replacing him at almost the same money. Derek Favors has a non-guaranteed contract of $17 million per year for next season, but I don't think that the Jazz will pay him that. They're planning to cut him, and I think honestly what they're basically going to do is transfer that money and the money from Epe Udo's contract, who's making around $3.5 million. They're just going to give that to Randle for around $20 million per year. That's basically the amount that I think he's worth, is around $20 million per year based on how he's playing this season. He would slot in nicely for the Jazz at the 4 spot next to Gobert. He's more athletic than Favors. He can shoot it pretty comparably. He's a better scorer than Favors is, and I think overall he's just an upgrade. And really, Favors is making $17 million a year right now, and I think Randle would be a significantly better player for only $3 million more. So I think his fit on the Jazz is pretty self-explanatory and pretty straightforward, in that he would basically just be replacing Derek Favors, and he'd be an upgrade compared to him. The next team I have on here is the Sacramento Kings. The Kings' desire to get Randle might be not as strong as some of these other teams, because they already have a lot of scoring threats and they need more defense on their team, as in they already have De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley. But Willie Cauley-Stein is actually going to be a free agent, and the Kings will have about $25 million in cap space, 27 actually to be exact. And so I think that they definitely could do something like signing Julius Randle to $20 million to have him be their starting center, and then you have either Bagley or Bjelica next to him at the 4, and then the other left out guy coming off the bench as a 6th man. So I think he would be a really good fit as far as his offensive game. He'd be another threat that this offense could unlock. They also like to run a lot on this team, and he is really good in a system where they run a lot. Like on the Lakers last year, they ran a ton, and he did really well in that. And then this year in New Orleans, they're doing a lot of up and down, really fast-paced play, and he's really striving in that offense. So I think from that perspective, he would fit really well with the Kings play style, not the Suns. But again, the only drawback is that he doesn't play much defense and that they need more defense on this team. The next team I have on here is the San Antonio Spurs, who, after getting rid of Pau Gasol, they don't really have a set starting center. They could start Jakob Poeltl going forward, but I don't know that he's really a starting center quality player. So that leaves Julius Randle as a pretty good option for them. They are going to have around um, like $25 million in cap space this upcoming season, so that would be enough to sign Julius Randle. They would have to let Rudy Gay go, but I think Julius Randle would be an upgrade. And your starting lineup after this would probably look something like DeJounte Murray at the 1, then probably DeMar DeRozan at the, or maybe Marco Bellinelli at the 2, DeMar DeRozan at the 3, and then Aldridge and Randle at the 4 or 5, depending on whatever the matchup is, because Aldridge is a little bit taller, so maybe if you're playing a bigger team, he'd play center. But if you don't really care, you could put Randle at the 5 too. It doesn't really matter. But that's a really solid starting lineup, and I think Julius Randle as a third option is where he's supposed to be offensively for any given team, and I think he would really slide in well with the Spurs. And again, he brings some more youth and athleticism that this team doesn't really necessarily have, because some of their players like DeRozan's going to be 30 next year, Aldridge is going to be 34, and in comparison, I think Randall's only around 24 right now, so he would be a nice fit for that team. Okay, so next I have the Brooklyn Nets on here. The Nets are a team that have a lot of cap space coming up this offseason. They're going to have almost like $70 million in cap space, so however they decide to do things, if I were them, I would try and re-sign D'Angelo Russell and then also Julius Randle. Each guy probably is worth, to me, about $20 million per season per player. So then you sign those two guys, you still have around $30 million that you could go out and sign like a max free agent, like a Klay Thompson, Jimmy Butler, Kyrie Irving, Durant, and you could honestly slide D'Angelo Russell to the shooting guard spot if you want to bring in a point guard like Kemba Walker or something. So that being said, I think the Nets have a lot of cap space to play with, and I think Julius Randle will be a nice, young, athletic addition to a team that's already trending towards being very young and athletic. Like they've got players like D'Angelo Russell, Jarrett Allen, Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Ed Davis, he's expiring. Rondé Hollis-Jefferson's expiring, but they might re-sign these guys. Joe Harris is relatively, well, not relatively young. He's 27, but still he feels younger for some reason. So yeah, I would like Julius Randle on this team. And last but not least, the team that I think that Julius Randle would work best with is the Dallas Mavericks, who are the last team that I have on this list, the 5th team. So Dallas has a ton of cap space coming up, around $65 million next offseason. So yes, they're probably going to have to sign Kristaps Porzingis to around 30 of that, so that leaves around $35 million. But that still leaves enough for you to sign Julius Randle to maybe like a $20 million per year contract, and then you could still go out and get like one more guy. So I think, that being said, that they have a pretty solid foundation if they sign those two guys. And then you could go out and sign a wing for $15 million, maybe like maybe Chris Middleton or Malcolm Brogdon is willing to take that money. Probably more like a Malcolm Brogdon type would take that, because Chris Middleton probably wants like $25 million per year. But either way, you still have $15 million to work with for signing another player. But I would like that, and I like the idea of a starting lineup that features like Randle at the 5, Porzingis at the 4, Doncic at the 3, probably Courtney Lee at the 2 with Tim Hardaway being the 6th man, and then at the 1 probably JJ Barea or somebody else that they sign in free agency. So yeah, I like the possibility of that a lot. I think you provide some good depth in that it allows to, like, I think previously the idea maybe was going to be that they'd have Doncic at the 1, Hardaway and Lee at the 2 and the 3, and then Porzingis at the 5, and maybe somebody else at the 4. But I like the idea of being able to bring Tim Hardaway off the bench, because I think he's much better as a 6th man than a starting caliber player. So that being said, that's the team that I like the best for Julius Randle. They're young, they're athletic, they're going to want to run a lot, and I think that he would work well in that system, and him and Porzingis would work well in that. Randle likes to play more on the basket, whereas Porzingis is trending towards more of being a 3-point spot-up shooter. Yes, Porzingis can play down in the post some too, but he isn't a stranger to stepping out and taking more shots from the outside as of late. So for those reasons, I like Julius Randle going to the Mavericks. And that's all I got for today, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave your comments below as to where you maybe think Julius Randle should go. I'd love to hear from you. I'm open to anyone's opinion or take on the matter. And again, hope you guys enjoyed the video and you have a good day. Bye.